Shalom, shalom, and welcome, my viewer and my listener, to today's video. And God bless you for finding time to listen, to watch my videos. And God bless you so, so much. So that is a stanza in a song. That was song number 2. Kyuria Gyakwa is the title of the song. Sung by me, Joyce, aka Daughter of Zion. It is on YouTube. If you have not watch the song, you can watch again and again and again. And may God richly bless you. And thank you for those who have already subscribed to this channel. God bless you so, so much. And if you are watching and you have not subscribed, may I kindly request you to subscribe, and may our good Maker bless you so much. So welcome. This is part 5 of us looking at the Sabbath. We have done part 1, 2, 3, up to 4. So this is part 5. If you have not watched those previous videos, I kindly request you and invite you to watch, and God bless you so much. So today I want us to ask ourselves, are we supposed to go to church on a Sabbath? Because we are looking at the Sabbath. Are we supposed to go to church on a Sabbath? And so let us remember that when giving out the commandment about the Sabbath, he said we are supposed to rest. And we are supposed to rest as God rested, because God rested on the 7th day, that is the Sabbath day, and he requires us to do the same. And I don't know which part we said that, the part which I was doing about why the importance of Sabbath. We saw that Sabbath is also kept in heaven even today. So even today, God rests together with the heavenly host. They rest on a Sabbath. So we are supposed to rest. We were told to rest. We were not told to go to church. And we read in Exodus 16, Don't know whether we can still, yeah, it was Exodus 16, where they were told to prepare themselves. And so it was Exodus 16 verses, if you read from verses 22, you'll find that they were told, and I just want to read verses, let me see. I want to read verses, let me read from verses 29. Bear in mind that the Lord has given you the Sabbath. That is why on the sixth day he gives you bread for 2 days. Everyone is to stay. Yeah, that is the point I wanted us to get. Everyone is to stay where he is on the seventh day, no going out. So the people rested on the seventh day. So we are supposed to rest on the seventh day, on the Sabbath. So the people rested on the seventh day. They did not even go outside the tent of meeting. They did not even go to the tent of meeting. They rested on the seventh day. So let us read now Leviticus 23, verses 3. There are 6 days when you may work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of rest. A Sabbath of rest, not a Sabbath of going to church. A Sabbath of rest, a day of sacred assembly. So what is coming first before we even come to the sacred assembly? Rest. A day of rest. A Sabbath of rest, a day of sacred assembly. You are not to do any work wherever you live. It is a Sabbath to the Lord. So, my viewer and my listener, the first thing we are supposed to do is to rest. To rest from all customary work. After resting, we are told we can have a holy convocation, a holy assembly, a gathering. And it is not just a gathering or a convocation, it is a holy, a sacred convocation. Why? Why should it be a sacred or a holy convocation or assembly or gathering? It is because there are regulations and the rules to be followed by those who are meeting. There are some rules and regulations which they are supposed to follow. It's not for, it's for those who qualify. Let me say that. It is for those who qualify. Those who meet those regulations, they can meet. Like now, for example, if a woman is on her menses, she's not supposed to attend a holy convocation because she is ceremoniously unclean. Yeah. So those are some of the requirements or regulations. Or if you are unclean in such a way that you and, okay, maybe in your homestead somebody has died, you are not supposed to attend a holy convocation. You have attended a burial. You are supposed, you are unclean. Yeah. If you have handled a dead body, there was somebody who had died, you want to do the preparations of the burial, what. So those are some of the things that make someone ceremoniously unclean, and so you are not supposed to attend a holy convocation. So there are rules, and there are rules to be followed. That is why it is called a holy convocation. So people can meet, yes, but you have to follow the regulations. Remember, we saw some of the do's and don'ts on a Sabbath, and one of them being you cannot make a journey. So, meaning for those who meet, you cannot move from one estate or one town to another, because one of the things that we saw that we are not supposed to do on a Sabbath is to buy and sell. So if you have to take a journey and you are using public transport, you are not from where you are to go to where you'll go for the convocation. That is not allowed, because if you are using public transport, you need to pay for the transport, and you are not supposed to do what? To buy or sell. So, if people in the same neighborhood, yeah, if they meet the requirements, they can meet. But the question is, where do you meet? That is now another question. Where? Because, okay, we've said if people in the same neighborhood, yeah, neighbors, and they are all following the law and the testimony, and they meet the qualifications, they can meet. But the question is, where do you meet? Now, let us read Isaiah so that we see whether we can meet somewhere. Let us read Isaiah chapter 26, verses 20 to 21. Yeah? Go, my people, enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Behind you, yes. Hide yourselves for a little while until his wrath has passed by. See, the Lord is coming out of his dwelling to punish the people of the earth for their sins. The earth will disclose the blood shed upon her. She will conceal her slain no longer. That is Isaiah 26, verses 20 and 21. So, we are being told to do what? Go, my people, and enter your rooms and shut the doors behind you. Let us stay in our places until such a time when the indignation be overpassed, yeah? Because here it is saying that until his wrath has passed by, because God will come out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth because of their iniquity. And that is very true, because in this, I think we have ever read this scripture in Zephaniah chapter 8, chapter 3, verses 8. From verses 8, Zephaniah says that, therefore wait for me, declares the Lord, for the day I will stand up to testify. I have decided to assemble the nations, to gather the kingdoms, and to pour out my wrath on them, all my fierce anger. The whole world will be consumed by the fire of my jealous anger. Then will I purify the lips of the peoples, and all of them will call on the name of the Lord and serve him shoulder to shoulder. Now, Isaiah has told us to stay in our places until such a time when the indignation is overpassed, because God is coming out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth. And this one and that agrees with what Zephaniah is saying here, that God has decided to assemble the nations and to gather the kingdoms and to pour his wrath upon the earth. And the people will be consumed by the fire of his jealousy. Now, until such a time when this will happen, yeah, remember here he has said that in verse 9, he has said that then will I purify the lips of the people, that they may all call on the name of the Lord and serve him shoulder to shoulder in one consent. Now, those who will not be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, as Zephaniah is telling us, will worship him in one consent. By that time, people can have physical convocations on a Sabbath. They can have, yeah. But remember, the same Zephaniah, if you read the same Zephaniah, let us read 2 verses 11, the Lord will be awesome to them when he destroys all the gods of the land. The nations on every shore will worship, everyone in his own. This one is saying land, but other translations says everyone in his own place. Everyone in his own place. People will worship God in one accord, in one consent, shoulder to shoulder. But the question was, are we supposed to go to church on a Sabbath? Today, those people who go to church, they go to church on the first day of the week. Yeah? And when they go to church, there is church A, B, C, D, up to more than 1,000 churches. Yeah? Every church with its own doctrine, regulations, serving the way they want, not even the way our Maker commanded. Others, some are individual churches, meaning they followed the doctrine of the owner of the church or the ministry. So here, when God will be awesome to them, when he will destroy all the gods of the land, meaning all these are so-called churches, all these doctrines, they will be destroyed. Yeah, they will be destroyed. The nations on every shore will worship him. And when worshiping him, it is what as now verses 9 of Zephaniah 3 is telling us, shoulder to shoulder, in one accord, in one consent, doing things in oneness, as in what one is doing when he is here in Africa, in Kenya, another one is doing the same in another part of the world. Let me give an example of the Sabbath, because we are asking ourselves whether we are supposed to go to church on a Sunday. So if here I am keeping the Sabbath on a Sabbath, I am resting on a Sabbath, another person in another part of the world is also resting on a Sabbath. So at that point when we shall serve God in one consent, we will not have some people going to church on the first day of the week and some resting on a Sabbath. It will be uniform. That is what it means to serve God in one accord, in one consent, shoulder to shoulder. If when I am here, I am observing the ordained feast of our Maker, another person in another part of the world is doing the same. So, and for those people who would like to defend going to church so much because they were told not to forsake the meeting together of brethren. I have a question for you. I have a question for you. And that question, yeah, I will read for you from the Bible. Let me read for you Ezekiel. Before we ask the question, let me read for you Ezekiel chapter 34, verses 10. It says, "This is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against the serpents, and I will remove them from tending the flock, so that the servants can no longer feed themselves. I will rescue my flock from their mouths, and will no longer be food, and it will no longer be food for them." So one thing, what we are seeing is that the Lord has said, this is what the sovereign Lord says. So it is the Lord himself saying that he is against the serpents, and he will remove them from tending the flock. So that work of being a pastor, a bishop, a reverend, the sovereign Lord will remove them from that work, meaning they will not do that work again. They will not be pastoring the people of God, and they are being called the flock. And here he is saying he will rescue them. My friend, you cannot be rescued from a good thing. You can only be rescued if you are in danger. What does that tell me? What does that tell us? That those people who are in churches, they are in danger. And that is why the sovereign Lord is saying that he will rescue his flock. And you cannot be less unless if there is a danger. That is when you are rescued. People said rescue teams to rescue people when they are in danger. Maybe it is the flood, the accident, fires. People are rescued when they are in danger. So God here, the sovereign Lord here, is seeing people in danger. Those who are in churches, they are in danger. And God, he is saying that he will rescue them. Now, what will happen after they have been rescued? What will happen after he has stopped the servants? The servants are the pastors. Actually, some translations put it very well, the pastors. Yeah. So what will God do after he has rescued his flock from those servants? We go down to verses 23. After he has done that, verses 23 of Ezekiel 34 says, I will place over them one shepherd, my servant David, and will tend them. He will tend them and be their shepherd. I, the Lord, will be their God, and my servant David will be the prince among them. I, the Lord, has spoken. I, the Lord, has spoken. So my question was, at that time, when God will stop you, will stop the servants from tending the flock and raise one servant for them, his servant David, where will be the church? That is the question I'm asking. Where will be the church? Where will be the so many churches we have around? Where will they be? Because today we have very many churches, different names. And now God has said that He will raise His servant David, His servant to tend over them. So it will be one shepherd worldwide. Where those people who defend the church, answer me. Can somebody answer me and tell me where will be the church at that time? Because people defend going to church so much. You cannot fail to go to church. And right now, when you start telling somebody to follow the law of our maker, and you find somebody asking you, where do you meet? Where do you meet for your services? I'm asking you now, where will be your church when God will raise one shepherd to tend over all his flock? Remember, it will be worldwide, one shepherd worldwide. Where? So that one tells me that a time is coming and all the churches, all the mosques, all the temples will be no more. A time is coming when there will be no church this, church that, mosque this, mosque that, temple this. We shall all be serving God in oneness, in one accord, shoulder to shoulder, under one shepherd, his servant David. Now, so my viewer and my listener, for now, we are supposed to rest in our places, not going to church. Yes, not going to church. After all, we go to church on the seventh day, on the first day of the week. They don't rest. That first day of the week was not blessed, sanctified by the Lord. The Lord only blessed the seventh day of the week, the Sabbath day. He rested on the Sabbath day and requires us to do the same. So, shalom, shalom. Have a blessed time. And may God really bless. And let me ask, because we are telling people to obey the law and the testimony. Do you need a crowd to obey God? Do you need a crowd to obey what God has commanded? No. You can obey from wherever you are. You can obey from wherever you are. You don't need a crowd of people. You don't need a group of people so that you can obey. You don't. So have a blessed time. If you have not subscribed, let me kindly ask you to subscribe, and God bless you. Shalom, shalom. Let's meet in the next video. Shalom. Have a blessed time. Thank you.